What is up with it, guys? Welcome to Budget Thursday on the Tuff Puff. This is Daniel Altavilla here. Today I have for you a quad Zoroark Glade deck. Pretty much I took the list I used at the National Championships with Kevin Baxter, and I took out the Shamans and put it on Knowns. And while that seems like a lazy thing to do, just to call it a budget deck and get views or whatever, that's not why I did that. I did it because I actually think Shaman in the deck is hardly ever used, and that Unknown and its synergy with Glade makes it a much better option. So I honestly feel that I would play something like this in a tournament. So don't feel like this is just a cop-out, because it's not. Anyways, so what I have for you is 2 Oblivion Wing Eviltal, 1 Fright Night Eviltal, 4 Zora, and 4 Zoroark, 1 Zoroark Break. So these are our dark types, and the idea is that we can Oblivion Wing to knock out Joltix and Pumpkaboos. We can Fright Night to shut off their tools, and also because Pitch Black Spear is an incredible attack. We can Mind Jack times 4, so we can get huge knockouts. And we could Foul Play, Chaos Wheel, so Giratina can't attack us that easily. We have Dredagon for Revenge. Since we play 3 Muscle Bands, he is a basic attacker that hits up to 110, which can knock out Shaman. Keep that in mind. Glade, which is obviously good with Premonition and Unknown's Farewell Letter here, as well as Sensitive Blade, which is our strongest attack that we can use. Without our opponent being able to control how much damage we do. Meaning that with Mind Jack, our opponent can simply, not bench their Pokemon. With Fright Night, or Pitch Black Spear rather, our opponent can simply, not have an EX on their bench, or not play an EX deck or something like that, so our damage output is minimized. With Dredagon, our opponent can hit us twice, the second attack being a Sky Return, the first attack being enough to put us in knockout range from Sky Return with a Muscle Band or something. So Glade is our 130 guaranteed, potentially more. You can go up to 170 with Giovanni Scheme and a Muscle Band. So that's Glade. And then lastly, we have Unknown, which is not an attacker, but easily could knock out Joltix, so that's interesting. So the idea of the deck is it's a bunch of 9EXs. It's hard for your opponent to actually knock you out ever. Or what am I saying? It's hard for your opponent to ever actually draw 6 prizes against you before you knock all their EXs out and win the game. But it is possible. This deck's not invincible. My record with it at Nationals with Shamans instead of Unknowns was 5-3-1. So I mean, I was able to win 5 games and tie 1 that was supposed to be a win, but it did not get me there. So, anyways, it's proven that the deck's good. Kevin Baxter piloted the deck to day 2. Our friend Oliver from the UK got top 4 at Nationals with it. And this version cost you $60 less. So, anyways, we have 3 Compressor, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Trainer's Mail. These 3 cards combined will help us hit our 2/2 Maxi. We have 2 Target Whistle to add 30 damage to our opponent's bench for Mind Jack, and to bring back Shamans and stuff for easy pickings. Plenty of games at Nationals I used both Target Whistles. Playing 2 was so good. We have 1 Giovanni Scheme. The idea is that Zoroark really doesn't hit that much. So say your opponent has 4 Pokemon on bench. You're hitting 130, 140 with Reverse Valley, 160 with Muscle Band, 180 with Giovanni. If they have 5 Pokemon on bench, you're hitting 160, which is 180 with Muscle Band and 210 with Giovanni and Reverse Valley. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage modifiers and 2 Target Whistles, so up to 7 damage modifiers in the deck. The idea is that we want to hit big numbers with Zoroark, and we never want to be left in the dark. We want to be able to hit hard and give up little prizes. So, besides that, we have 2 Lysander. We obviously have the 2 Maxis I already pointed out. A Zoroark, mostly to take off Fighting Fury Belt and to take off energies off Giratina. 2 Sycamore because we have 2 Maxi, so we can't afford to run more because this list is very tight. 2 N, and a Hex Maniac for Trevenant, for Greninja, which is a very, very, very tough matchup, but it's not impossible thanks to our damage modifiers in Giovanni and Muscle Band on Gallade. And then 2 Floatstones so we can, use our stand-in. We have 4 Zoroark, so the chances of having a Muscle Band on all of them is impossible, so we put a Floatstone on one of them, and we have that. Now, our energy is kind of skimpy. It's 4 Double Colorless and 5 Dark, but we get by. We surely get by, so that's all that matters. Anyways, that's a deck for you guys. The idea is slap with Zoroark for big numbers, slap with Oblivion Wing to set up our attackers, and slap with Sensitive Blade, and then you have Druddigon in there for a little taste. So a little flavor, actually. So there you go, guys. That's a deck. I'll see you in a game. Evil Tall Coin. Alright, so we just got into a game. Turtle Star is calling the coin flip. Come on, Turtle Star. I win. I always win. Anyways. Alright, this hand's... Whoa, this hand sucks. The best thing we could do is like Trainer's Mail into Ultra Ball for Zora, put DCE on it so that we don't have to waste a DCE, and that's it. Or we just put it on Druddigon and then we could stand in at some point. So I kept telling Kevin and Oliver, like, man, this deck really needs a Super Rod. This deck really needs an Evil Tall EX. So this deck really needs a this deck needs Puzzle of Time. And somehow those 2 guys are so confident that this deck doesn't need any of that stuff. I don't know. While I enjoy the Quad Zoroark and the big Gallade line, I still feel like we have so many good items in this format. But Trevenant, I think, is going to be big. And I don't want to have to worry about getting item locked to death when I'm a Dark deck. So, I don't know. So, we hit the Ultra Ball. We're just going to... We're going to... Yeah, I think I'm going to take my time here. I'm going to attach an energy to Zora. You know what? Yeah, we don't have a Zoroark prized, so I will be fine Sycamoring this one. But I was thinking, like, if I could put the energy on Zora and pass, I can evolve, put my other energy on Druddigon, and then stand in. So what I'm going to do is VS for the Sycamore on the off chance that my opponent drops a random Toad. So my opponent's playing, like, Toad unknown. Anyways, so that's what I'm going to do. But the reason I want to do that is because I think my opponent might have a Night March Vespiquen deck. It could easily... It's obviously Vespiquen of some sort, right? If it plays Unknown. Unless my opponent is somehow playing Quad Zoroark Unknown as well. But that's what it seems to be, is a Vespiquen, a Vespiquen Vileplume, Vespiquen Night March, or a Vespiquen straight up. Yep. I'm not sure what my opponent's going to be grabbing off this Battle Compressor, but it is a Vespiquen deck, more than likely. Or it's a YZG. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, we'll find out after this compressor, most likely. Wow, that chair makes a lot of noise. Come on, Turtle Star. Alright, we gotta get the mad faces going because this is... Alright. Oh, what? What? Oops. Alright. Okay. So, this is Fighting Toad deck. This is like, I can't think of a matchup that probably gets any worse than a Toad deck mixed with a fighting deck. And I have no idea what my opponent's doing. She's puzzle timing, and then she could Oh, that makes so much sense now. Whoa. Farewell letter into a supporter, perhaps? Maxi, perhaps? And my opponent scoops, so that was a big waste of time. She probably misplayed somewhere along the line. Anyways, that was a big waste of time. I might even just cut that out of the video in favor of having a nice video where I actually play games where I play a turn. So yeah, that's probably getting cut out. If it doesn't, then I'm sorry you had to deal with me talking so much about the video getting cut out. Alright, I get to go first. Alright. Nice Charizard sleeves. Pretty basic. Go. Zoroark. Go. A Toad Bats, or Raichu Bats, or anything bats, regardless of what sort of bats it is not going to be good for my Zoroark, for my Pitch Black Spear, rather. So we're going to Reverse Valley, keep it this way, Sycamore. See, so we already have 3 strong attackers on the field, pretty much. Do the math. Alright. So I'm going to pass this turn. I don't know if it is Toad Bats or something like that, but what are the chances, man? And then next turn we have the double Ultra Ball and the Maxi to hit our Glade. We have a DCE for Zoroark. Oh, this could... Okay. It's past Bats, apparently. Not Raichu Bats, not Manectric Bats, but past turn Bats. So Ultra Ball those for Glade. Ultra Ball, Glade, Lysander, Zoroark, hitting exactly 50 with Mind Jack, so that's cute. And then my opponent will not survive another turn. Haha. This is like RNG deck, pretty much. You have your Zoroarks, yeah. You have your Yultals, yeah. And then you have your RNG with Glade. And sometimes not hitting Glade actually loses you the game. I'm going to save that band. But I'm going to Premonition. Like at Nationals, I lost 3 rounds to Manectric. No, I lost 2 rounds to Manectric because I freaking whiffed Zoroark each time. So my opponent scoops, so... Anyways, I'll keep this game. The last one I played, I probably deleted, so... Keep this game, and we'll play 2 more, 1 more, whatever. We'll just get a real game. I hate that people scoop on PTCGO. How am I supposed to make my YouTube videos? let me go first, obviously. I'm a stage 1 deck. Okay. Man, Pokemon is, Pokemon, like, swears, you know, that they're doing a good thing with this, whole choose who goes first before drawing your hand thing. But, like, we're always going to go first anyways in this format. At least give us a format where choosing actually matters. Like, Regionals 2014 or something. Done. Aegislash. Not the best, not the card I want to face the most, but it's not horrible. Metal is not a bad matchup by any means. So, probably best case here is Trainer's Mail into our top deck, either Ultra Ball or Sycamore. Whichever one we don't hit, we Trainer's Mail into the other one. And then we Ultra Ball into Yveltal, we Floatstone or Unknown, Retreat to Yveltal, Compressor, Dark Energies that we hit off Sycamore or whatever, Oblivion Wing to Zoroark, and then Aegislash is likely gonna die, or we could just Hex it at some point, because, you know, Hex Maniac's a card. Aegislash was so good before Hex Maniac. Now, it's like Tisk Tisk. I miss Metal. Back in 2015 Nationals, Aegislash was so good. There was no hitting it. You had to Lysander around it. And if you couldn't, then you were pretty stuck with it active, and it was just gonna Slash Blast the crap out of you repeatedly. Cool, so my opponent filled up his bench. Thanks, bud. I don't know who you think you're messing with, but hey, pal. Okay. So the only supporter we have is N, which is fair. At least it is a supporter at all, and at least it'll get rid of these 2 VS Seekers back into our deck, which is perfect. Now we just need another Zora, Dark Energy. Now this is the kind of hand where Shaman would be good in the deck, but I just cannot. I don't think Shaman is that great in here. Maybe as a one of, but that's all I could see it being. So we're seeing one card with Farewell Letter, we're seeing a second card with our top deck, and a third card off Ultra Ball with Farewell Letter, worst case. Meanwhile, his Aegislash is stuck active, so we will be able... Okay, cool. So we will be able to knock out the Aegislash with a Mind Jack, assuming I get a Hex Maniac. Yeah. So, you'd hit Hex. Okay, never mind. That's so annoying. So I guess I never really went over the actual budget of this deck, but with a 4/4 Zoroark at 4 to 5 apiece, depending on the rarity, that's 20. I'm sure Zoras will get thrown in at that point if you get them from someone local. Otherwise, they're 25 cents a piece or 50 cents a piece, so that's 22. 2 Gallades at $5 each is 32. 2 Unknowns, nothing, so 33, 34. Hey, we got the Hex, guys. We hit the Hex. Too bad we got Zoroark, huh? So we're gonna grab the Compressor. So, anyways, the budget for this deck is roughly 34. Then we have the Yveltals, 35 for Fright Night, 36, 37 for Oblivion Wing. 3 compressors, 4 males. Compressors are like 3 or 4 each. So the deck runs, I think it hits after VS Seekers and all that, maybe $80 without Shamans. A little more with Shamans. Sorry about that. That was disgusting. I hope I could edit out that sneeze. That was horrific. Anyways, so we're gonna go Zoroark here. We're gonna stand in and then Farewell Letter. And we're gonna hit our VS Seeker. Or Maxi. You ready? Oh! How do I do it? YouTube, how is it that someone calls it every time? What do we want? I think we want the Evil Tall here instead of the second Zoroark. This is so that we can start Oblivion Winging, because that Aegis Slash is going to be a nuisance. We do have the Maxi and the Glade in here. Oh, man. Yeah, baby. So we need off this a Dark and a Floatstone, but we didn't hit the Floatstone, so we're gonna Premonition, putting we want the Zoroark on top because we're gonna Ultra Ball next turn. So Zoroark, then the rest doesn't really matter. Attach here, and we're gonna let this guy be our sacrificial pawn. The cool thing about Premonition is that it really helps us dig through our deck so we can find our supporters, so we're not in a drought for so long. Really, dude? Okay. That's not so bad. Metal is a positive matchup for this deck, but Aegis Slash is kind of killing us right now. And the Fury Belts are really going to kill us, but we'll be fine with the prize trade. So, I mean, the difference between this deck and YZG is this deck is very, very, very extremely reliant on Zoroark. Whereas YZG is much less reliant on Zoroark and more reliant on Glade and Evil Tall EX. So, with that knowledge, that means we have a good 2/2 Zoroark less in YZG. We have 2 target whistles out. Put in some Evil Talls, some Max Elixirs. And then there's still, you know, I gotta get Unknown here, if it is in the deck. There's still a, what am I thinking? Alright, so the difference between the decks is that this deck is so reliant on Zoroark, and YZG is so reliant on Evil Tall, that they have room after all their stuff. They still have room. That's what I was thinking. They still have room for techs. This deck does not have room for techs. So our techs come in the form of target whistle, pretty much. And we have YZG, which has somehow a lot of room for techs. So Parallel City, Megaphone, Escape Rope, what have you. Whereas this deck has very, very little room for anything of that sort. So we have a strong deck here, but it is definitely not the best deck in the form of techs. But it's so straightforward that who needs techs when you have a deck like this that is so cut and dry and easy to play and very good, you know? Like, YZG is so reliant on maxis, because Evil Tolly X, like, alone is so bad as an attacker now in Standard. It's impossible to set up. It does, it does no damage unless you can set it up. Like, yeah, we have max elixirs, but what does that mean? You're not guaranteed hitting your max elixirs. Like my opponent here, who just whiffed, like, 2 max elixirs this game. And with that being said, I feel that YZG, while it's reliant on Evil Tall and Gallade, is better in the tech game, whereas Zoroark is better at attacking for decent numbers. So I would say that that YZG is probably the not the better of the 2 decks, but I don't know what I'm thinking here. It's like the more 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 160, 170. It's not the better of the 2 decks, but it's the more it's easier to tech, whereas this deck is the this deck is just simply a not much of a tech deck, and it's more consistent. I don't know. It just took me like 20 minutes to explain that. I don't know where my mind is right now. Anyways, so what we want to do is I'm going to play this Reverse Valley. You know what? No, I'm just going to be aggressive. I was debating a couple things, but if I kill a Shaman this turn, force out a Genesect, in the coming turns, Fright Knight him, his Genesect, after slapping it for a bunch, and then we Premonition. I don't know what we want on top. Probably this Target Whistle, maybe VS Seeker. VS Seeker, because we could always hit Target Whistle after Trainer's Mail. Okay, Trainer's Mail, Ultra Ball, Muscle Band, Ultra Ball. Okay, it's not letting me. Anyways, so YZG is definitely one of my favorite decks, but I think this deck is just way more consistent. It's a better play. With Captivating Pokepuff coming out, it'll be a strong play for Worlds probably, just because we have the damage modifier through Target Whistle, and then we have the freaking not only damage modifier that is more than just 1. It could be 1, it could be 0, but it could also be like 4. We have the chance to stop our opponent from using setup, so it crawls them down to our pace while still making them bench their Shamans. So, and even then, it's good because if our opponent does hold Shaman, because they know that we are playing this Zoroark deck, and if they're playing Night March or Manectric and they're holding basics in hand, and we Captivating Pokepuff them, they lose that. And what if they have an Ultra Ball in hand with a basic and they want to save it, and they want to use Ultra Ball next turn for Shaman, and you Captivating Pokepuff them and they go back down to 1 card? Well, excuse me, but I think that card just has so many uses that in a deck like this, that it'll make this deck shoot up way higher than YZG, because we have more options versus more decks. And I know it's a 1/1 Target Whistle Pokepuff. You could easily Sycamore them or you waste them turn 1, but it's also, they're also just really, really strong options. So I need to hit a Muscle Band. I don't know if Giovanni's in here, but if he is, I could just use him. Nope. Reverse Valley. Ooh, I shouldn't have played that. How much HP? 170? Yeah, that's fine. Reverse Valley's fine. It's because I do 10 less now to his Aegis Slash, but with a Muscle Band I'm hitting 150 anyways, so the 10 less doesn't matter. But that was almost a huge misplay, so good one, Daniel. Alright, So put the energy on Zora, and we're gonna VS for Sycamore. I don't remember. I think we are hitting a Muscle Band off of the Premonition. It was Trainer's Mail, Muscle Band, yeah, among other things. So we have that. We're gonna Ultra Ball here to kind of be safe from an N. I accidentally attached to the wrong Zoroark. I want to be able to evolve it this turn, but I can't because I'm dumb. Yeah, of course. Premonition. So off Premonition, we want the Muscle Band. No, we want the DCE. And then the rest can go as our second card. Those are... Alright, so now we're going to Sensitive Blade for the knockout here. Go down to 2 prizes. And then our opponent is going to most likely retaliate with a Genesect knockout, if they can even hit that. And even then, they will have to deal with our Lysander, Zoroark, Mindjack combo on a Shaman. Yeah, so we will see the Genesect this turn, but that's all we will see. Now, if my opponent was smart, what they would have done is used Sky Return this turn to pick up the Shaman without the Fury Belt. So I'm only hitting 30, 60, 90, 100 on the Shaman with the Fury Belt. And that obviously wouldn't be a knockout. I'm not knocking it out with Gallade because it has resistance, and I'm hitting 150, so I'm only hitting 130. I don't know, man. My opponent didn't really think that through. Maybe he'll watch this video and figure that out. But anyways, it would have bought my opponent an extra turn. And if they get another turn of Sky Return and a good end, I'm kind of screwed. And then they could just switch out between Genesects or something, or... I don't know, but I'm running out of resources here, so giving me the game this turn is, like, you know, not ideal. Alright, so they're picking up the Shaman anyways, so that's good. Yeah, okay, I don't know what you're doing. I got excited, man. The guy picked up the Shaman, he did the right thing, and then he just dropped it back down. Some people just don't understand, like, you know, and he's benching another Pokemon, like... In the game of Pokemon, there's a time to do things and a time to not do things, and my opponent has picked up a Shaman and played it back down. Why? All he got out of that was a Bronzor and another energy on Genesect. Like, whatever. Anyways, I should have promoted Drotagon, and I could have stood in. Because I think off Trainer's Mail we had the Muscle Band. 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200, 210. So we'd be 10 short. Alright, so well, there's a deck for you. It's really good. Go ahead and hit up Kevin Baxter. Tell him thank you for creating such a strong, essentially YZG variant. It's going to be a sick deck for Worlds. It's going to be a sick deck for next format. Although we do lose Battle Compressor, making Maxi much harder. We do have things like Regirock, Max Elixir. You know, we have ways to keep the fighting part of the deck going. And we're losing one of our biggest threats, which is Mega Manectric EX, and Toad even. So all the Giratina decks are gonna, you know, have to fill up their bench. Like, we're losing Bronzong, so Giratina can't even... I don't know, man. This deck's gonna be sick next format. That's all you need to know. Like, comment, subscribe. try the deck. It's cheap. Like I said, it runs maybe a little less than 80, maybe between 80 and 100 at the very worst. With Shamans, it still hits a good under 150, which is really solid for a Pokemon deck nowadays, even with 2 Shamans. Personally, I prefer no EXs in the deck and running unknowns, but that's just me. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to keep checking out our Budget Thursdays. We have some sick decks on here. I'm hoping that they're, a little bit more competitive than some of the other Budget Thursday decks, budget deck, period. But anyways, thanks again, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Friday tournament.